Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. So we're going to have an instant reaction to Texas and Baylor. Baylor advancing to 17-0, 83-69 victory over the Texas Longhorns in a top 10 matchup in Austin, Texas. So first off, congratulations to the Baylor Bears. Fantastic team. Those of you who follow us on Twitter, if you're not following us on Twitter, hit the description box. My Twitter handles below. And while you're there, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to us. That does, such great help to this channel and recognizing the algorithm and helping people find us. Now, in regards to the game tonight, was the game indicative of the final score? Was the final score indicative of the game we watched? No. But overall, I mean, when you look at the level that Baylor played at and what they forced you to play at, that's why there's levels to this in college basketball. And clearly, them and Gonzaga are on a different level, as good as Texas is. Now, as I'm saying that, Texas is in a situation where Shaka Smart is coming back from COVID. We had at one point only 3 people that were even really able to practice, and we missed a whole bunch of people over, they're talking about the last 19 days since we've had a real practice. And Sunday was like kind of the first day the band was back together. And they clearly, especially in the first half, did not have the same flow, chemistry, just genuine energy that they've played with in their non-conference, part of their schedule and through. So that was, that's a work in progress. And it's a tough ask when everybody finally gets back together to play against Baylor, especially when if you think about when they were supposed to initially play Baylor and first take that test, they were probably a lot more prepared then than they were tonight. But no excuses, because Baylor shot the hell out of the basketball. And then the Baylor Guards put on a very, very impressive shooting display. Jared Butler, Davion Mitchell, Maceo Teague, Matthew Mayer, Kleiger off the bench. Like, it didn't matter. And one of the things I encourage a lot of you young hoopers out there, dribble, pass, shoot. Those are all skills. This is skill level. And Baylor guards are highly, highly skilled. Now, the defensive stuff, and what Scott Drew does on that side and what he's mastered, they used to be more of a, kind of sunk in their 2-3 zone. And now with recruiting better athletes and just having a, solid nucleus, they can get away with some more man-to-man stuff. But overall, when you have rotating in nothing but people that can dribble, pass, shoot, you're always going to be in a good position. And right now, that skill level is not the same at Texas. It's just not. Our guards are very good. The Baylor guards are great. The Gonzaga guards are great. And there's a difference. And so in these type of games, now we can have people that have a great performance, like Andrew Jones did tonight. He had a great performance. And as Shaka Smart astutely pointed out before the season, Andrew Jones is our best pure natural scorer. You saw that on display tonight, because as good basketball players as Courtney Ramey and Matt Coleman are, they're not natural scorers. They're not great players. They're very, very good. But the issue you ran into tonight, it's hard for them to take over because that's not their game. They get plucked, right? Like, and something else I was talking about on social media was the ball handling issues, right? When you get people right up in your grill and not being able to, you got to tighten up your handle, especially moments like this. Possessions are crucial, and the ball handling issues were ridiculous tonight at times. So it's levels. I had some people tweeting me saying that, we this was finally the game where the stage may have been too big for Texas or anything like that. Texas has been on big stages this season. Let's not get it twisted. Villanova is very good. Like, the issue is you combine the rust and the layoff with people they're better basketball players right now. Like Jared Butler, he doesn't, outside of maybe taking an ill-advised jumper every now and again. Davion Mitchell, same thing. They're always going to be balanced when they're shooting the basketball. You look at their form. Their form is just natural fundamentals. right? Cut out all the other BS. Like, they are just better basketball players. Now, where Texas does have an advantage, and I think that's, again, there's a lot of teachable moments coming out of tonight's game. To me, it's with their size and their athleticism, especially in the front court. Especially, Baylor doesn't get any front court scoring whatsoever. They just got a bunch of tough dudes down there that can hold it down in the paint and give more space to their guards. That's it. So you look at a Jericho Sims, you look at a Greg Brown, you look at a Kai Jones. Hey, why can't they take more advantage of their matchups? Well, you look at skill level again there. As good as they are and as athletic as they are, right now they're better up and down, up and down, up and down. So they're gonna be very dependent upon the guard play. And in the half court sets where you can, college basketball, you know how it is. You can, just freaking smother the paint like nobody's business, and the bigs don't have as much room to operate. But Jericho Sims isn't really the type of guy you're going to throw it down to a whole bunch of times, just let him go back to the basket and score. Greg Brown's skill level's not there yet. Great athlete, future NBA prospect, no doubt about it. I'm at the point right now where I look at him and where he's, just some of the things, and I'm glad they touched on it on tonight's broadcast, despite the fact that Dickie V compared Rico Gathers, had the nerve to mention Rico Gathers in the same sentence as Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez. He should be suspended for that nonsense. But they did point out the freshmen coming in late, not getting some of the weight room time and just the time they normally have because of COVID. And when you look at a guy like a Greg Brown, who's already prospect-wise more long-term of a guy because of his body, his athleticism, his energy, his juice, all those type of things. But I'm not saying anything skill-wise. Like the ability is there to shoot. He can shoot the basketball. He is capable of it, but he's not a good shooter yet. He can make free throws, but he's not a consistent free throw shooter yet. Like, I think coming in this game, he was around 70%, and then he goes and misses 3 free throws, right? So these are all teachable moments. And so where I'm getting to with Greg Brown in particular is maybe he might benefit from another year coming back to school. Maybe one and done is not the route. Now, I'm sure it likely will be, especially keeping up with his class and the amount of, teaching and coaching he can get at the NBA level. Absolutely. But I think he would be somebody who benefits from another year in school and just getting used to developing those skills that some of those Baylor guards like a Jared Butler have developed during their time in school. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But when that gets compounded when you can't make free throws. And Texas on the year has been an average free throw shooting team. They're not a bad free throw shooting team. But in this game in particular, when you go 3 of 14 from the free throw line and you have the free throw advantage, because Baylor only shot 4 free throws, because when you have all these guards taking all these outside jump shots, they're not really going to get fouled. So we didn't have the foul issue like we had against OU per se, right? We're actually the ones that's the bigger team, more physically imposing, getting to the line, and no one's making their free throws. Even Andrew Jones struggled from the free throw line. So when you're playing against a top 5 team or a top 3 team like a Baylor, you can't leave those points on the table. Like, if Texas had at least come up, say on average, like they're in that situation, they shoot 14 free throws. So let's say you shoot 10 of 14 instead of 3 and 14. You shoot 1 of 8 in the second half. That loses basketball games. Like, I can't complain about the technical foul. I can't, all these other things, if we're going to shoot like crap from the free throw line when we work so hard to get there. And those are free, uncontested opportunities. So teachable moments for Texas. We hit on the ball handling. We just hit on the free throw shooting. Just in terms of defensively, yeah, there's times where they get in lapses and stuff. I expect them to be tightened up. I blame more of the defense stuff on Baylor being incredible shot makers and just overall rust. We have seen better defensive effort from this Texas team, especially, being able to create easy buckets for themselves out in transition, which they did at times. They took the lead at one point, 47-45 in the second half. So they had some juice in there where we saw our old Texas team, and they've got to get past this. I rather them have these issues now than March. Let's work it out now, early February, because they have OSU, I think Oklahoma State next, and then a little bit of lighter load against Kansas State and TCU before they crank back up with a bunch of ranked teams to close out the season. But I'd rather they get these things worked out now and get past the whole woe is me about the COVID stuff. It sucks, but don't let it derail your whole season. It's been let's let this be a hurdle that we get over during this course of the season, because I think everyone is still giving Texas the benefit of the doubt overall, considering the circumstances. Like, even Shaka Smart probably isn't 100% on the sideline, knowing what I went through coming back from COVID. Totally get it. But don't let this derail your season, because right now what you saw was the difference between a Final Four team and a Sweet 16 team out there. I think Texas can be a little bit better than that. I'm not saying Texas is better than Baylor by any means. They are capable of beating Baylor in a basketball game, and they have some matchup advantages, specifically in the front court, but they got to get better play. If Greg Brown's going to be out there and Jericho Sims going to be out there and they're missing free throws and turning the ball over and Kai Jones is trying to go to the rim and he doesn't have that strength and he's getting the ball knocked out of his hands every 2 seconds, then you guys know what the result's going to be. So I think this is good tape. This is Greg Brown in particular. I know I'm focusing a lot on him because the brother is so talented and I love the energy and passion he has for the game of basketball. Greg Brown probably learned more tonight. And I'm on his side, by the way, with the technical foul. I know the coaches got to do their job and coach him up. Where I come from, you look at the carcass when it's been slain, as far as I'm concerned, because that's one of the best dunks I've seen in college basketball all season. And I didn't see him say anything. I feel like you should be able to look at somebody when all sportsmanship goes out the window when you get piked on like that. That's just my opinion. That's where I've come from and how I was raised in the game of basketball. That aside, that's an energy thing. Again, like I said, Coach John Thompson, I rather try to turn tone it down than try to turn you up. But Greg Brown probably learned more about the game of basketball in this one game than he's had all season, by far. And there's going to be so many moments where, hey, maybe I know, hey, you might not be able to score enough yet right now in the in-season to fix taking somebody off the dribble or being a cut, basically a 3-and-D guy. But one of the things he can take advantage of is maybe, hey, positioning for offensive rebounding, put yourself in a position to cut. The dunk that he got was on the baseline where he was just cutting hard to the basket. Certain situations like that, just being smarter on how you move and where you position yourself in the front, in the half court. That's also on the coaching staff. So there's some things they can get cleaned up. But overall, teachable moments. That's the name of the game for tonight. For Baylor, if they're going to shoot the ball like mid-2010s Golden State Warriors, it's just going to be on Zaga in the championship game, and best of luck to the best man. So that's my take. I appreciate everybody out there that is praying for my mother for recovery. It's been very challenging times, but please, all my prayer warriors out there, please keep them coming. She is, she appreciates it. I appreciate it. And, we're fighting as a family together. I love doing these recaps. As always, very therapeutic for me. Guys, we'll be back. More Texas basketball content. I know y'all keep asking me for it. It's coming. Guys, love y'all. Horns always up.